Hello students, hope you all are well. Today we are going to start with lesson number 6 of history, the Sangam age. According to our reduced syllabus, from this chapter we are having two topics. One is its meaning and another one under two sources to reconstruct the Sangam age, 3 Quran. So let us start with ancient times of this Sangam age. So, in the ancient times, the region of peninsular India that lying to the south of Vindhya mountains was known as Dakshinapat, and it consists mainly the kingdoms situated in two geographical regions. First was known as the Deccan Plateau that lay between river Narmada in the north and Krishna and Tungabhadra in the south, and the Tamil country that included the territory to the south of the river Krishna and Tungabhadra was extending to Kanyakumari. In the region were the kingdoms of, these three kingdoms were there. One was Cheras, second one Cholas, and third one Pandyas. And in ancient times, the whole region was inhabited by the people of Dravidian origin. So who were these Dravidians? Question could be there. So question is, who were Dravidians? So the term Dravidians commonly used to denote the people belonging to the linguistic groups speaking Tamil, Kannada, Telugu and Malayalam. So the people, those who are speaking these languages, were known as Dravidians. So actually Dravidians were the original inhabitants of India. These were the original Indians before the advent of Aryans. They were living in South India. So I think your query related to Dravidians is clear up to this. Okay, then when we are talking about northern and southern India, we will just discuss a little bit only, as in northern India during the time period of Mauryans, some Buddhist and Jain monks, they started to move from northern parts of India towards the southern parts, and they started to spread their culture, their languages also towards this area. But the unique thing was that Tamil people, they accepted Brahminical faith, but they did not adopt many of the customs of Aryans. So they preserved the uniqueness of their own culture and the Tamil language, as their culture and their language was their pride. So from here, question is, what was the uniqueness of Tamil people? And this is the main reason why Tamil language, Tamil literature and their culture is still survive and progressing. Okay, so up to this I think a little bit is clear. So now start with the main meaning of Sangam age. So when we are talking about Sangam age, firstly we must discuss the meaning of Sangam. So the Sangam means assembly, means when two things are joining together, that is known as Sangam. So what happened in ancient India, why this time period is known as a Sangam age? So in ancient period, the history of Tamil Nadu, Kerala and some parts of Sri Lanka, during that time period, Tamil poets and scholars, they gathered in three literary gatherings, or simply we can say in three academies. So during that gatherings, they composed Tamil literature in bulk, means a huge Tamil literature was composed. That's why the time period is known as Sangam age, because Sangam literature was composed in huge during that period of time. So that age is known as Sangam age, and that literature is known as Sangam literature. Okay, so let us start with the literary sources. As I told you, main is the Trikural. Then from here, question is, what do you mean by Sangam age? Then another is, what do you mean by Sangam literature? Then is the Trikural. The literary work of third Sangam constituted, means three assemblies I told you. So the third one, that was the most important part of the Sangam literature. And they are the main sources of information about the life and traditions of Tamil people. So from where we get the main information related to the life and traditions of Tamil people? From the question, you will give your answer from here. From the third Sangam constituent, means the third Sangam gathering, or the third Sangam academy. Okay, and during that period of time, or in this third assembly, the famous Tamil poet, that was Tiruvalluvar, he composed Tirukural. And from here, question could be there, who was Tiruvalluvar, and write down the name of book written by Tiruvalluvar, or name the writer of Tirukural. So many questions could be there from here. So in this book, it consists 133 chapters, and under those chapters 1330 couplets are there. Like your book, many chapters are there, so under those chapters many further topics are there. And further, these chapters are grouped into three sections. Like our history book is having two sections, one is of history, another one is of civics. So this was having three sections, and each section was having one unique topic. So three topics, three names. First is Aram, that was the Dharma. Second is the Poral, that was Artha. And the Inbam, that was Kama. Dharma and Kama are obviously related to ethical code. So according to these ethical codes were there to be followed by the people of this area. And the third one is Artha, that deal with business, ethics and public affairs, means related to their work, related to their economy. And scholars viewed that Tiruvalluvar was very great poet, and this work is compared with the three great Sanskrit books, that were Dharmashastra, Arthashastra and Kamsutra. So he was compared, or his writings compared with these three main Sanskrit texts. And the teachings in these books have been a source of eternal inspirations and guide to Tamilians. And later on, this work is translated into many Indian as well as in many European languages. Okay, up to this main topic is over here. And in this time period, or in Tamil literature, two great epics were also written. Sometimes question could be there, write down the name of two Tamil epics. So if that you will write down here. First is the Silla Padikaram, and the second one is the Manimekalai. So these two are interrelated. First one is having a love story of Kovalans with the Madhavi, and this second one is related to their daughter, the life of their daughter, and as well as adventures of their daughter, and social and economic life of the Tamil up to the 6th century. Means we can get a huge information about a long time period from these two epics. So literary sources over here. Let's have a look related to the second source, that are archaeological sources. Under archaeological sources, topic is megaliths. I think you all are aware what megaliths. Megaliths means large stones. So in ancient time, when people used to bury their known's dead bodies, they used to cover those burials with the huge stones, and that are known as megaliths. Okay, so during that period of time, in these burials, they used to bury the dead bodies, as well as with that dead bodies, they used to keep some tools that were mainly iron tools, like arrows, pottery, fragments of rice, and other grains. When we got these things with the skeletons of dead bodies, we came to know that this time period people were aware about the use of iron, and this age is the transition from copper and bronze age to the iron age. And this is that megalithic tomb that is surrounded with those big huge stones, and these are those tools which were buried with the dead bodies. Okay, so our chapter is over here. Still, if something new will be added, that I will let you know. Till the time, just watch this video twice or thrice and try to get the meaning and the questions that I asked. Me about 6 questions are there. Just write down the answers of these questions and upload on app. And if any further query, any question is there, just message me. Till the time, thank you.